Tips for surviving a nuclear war and crisis coping practices. A nuclear war is one of the most formidable global threats. If unfortunately you find yourself in a situation after a nuclear strike, survival and protecting yourself are priorities, of course. And here are a number of tips for surviving a nuclear war that may help you cope with the crisis and increase your chances of survival. Finding shelter. The first priority is to find a safe haven. Look for underground structure such as underground rooms or radiation shelters and avoid staying outdoors. The distance from the nuclear strike, the geographic location, and the construction of the shelter have a significant impact on radiation resistance and whether you will survive. Radiation protection. When in a shelter, try to protect yourself from radiation. Close doors and windows and turn off any electrical equipment that draws air from outside to prevent radiation from entering. Use thick clothing, towels, or blankets to cover your body and stay as protected as possible. Supplies. Make sure you have an adequate supply of water, food, and medical supplies for your survival. Store enough water, including clean drinking water and water for hygienic use. Also collect long-life human food and medical supplies such as antibiotics and first aid. Reduction of exposure time. Try to reduce the time you spend outside the shelter. Every additional minute you are exposed to radiation increases your risk. Try to perform the necessary tasks quickly and avoid staying in open spaces. Avoiding contact with radioactive materials. Avoid contact with any radioactive materials such as dust, soil, or irradiated objects. Be careful not to breathe in that may contain radioactive particles. Breathe in the air that contain radioactive particles. Consumption of clean water and food. Prefer clean water that has not been exposed to radiation. Avoid eating food that has been exposed to radiation or comes from contaminated areas. Update. Keep up to date with the instructions and actions required after a nuclear strike. Tune in to emergency radio or television broadcasts for updates from authorities and the government. Follow these instructions for evacuation, taking anti-radiation medication, or other necessary actions for your safety. Psychological endurance. Psychological resilience is critical to surviving such a situation. Try to keep calm, lean on your loved ones, and help each other. A positive mindset and fostering solidarity can help cope with trauma and crisis. Precautionary preparation regarding a possible nuclear strike. Preparing a country for a nuclear strike is a serious and complex process. The following guidelines can help strengthen the country's preparedness for the possibility of a nuclear strike. Warning and communication system. Develop an effective warning and communication system to alert the public of the potential danger of a nuclear strike and provide safety instructions. Education and information. Educate the public officials, and healthcare professionals about radiation protection and safe practices in the event of a nuclear strike. Shelter development. Promote the development of shelters and preparation of infrastructure to protect the population during a nuclear strike. These facilities must offer protection from radiation and other hazardous effects. Risk analysis and assessment. Conduct an analysis and assessment of the potential risks of nuclear strike in your country, and this will help you develop preparedness plans and policies that meet your specific threats and needs. International cooperation. Work with international partners and organizations to share best practices, information, and develop joint nuclear strike preparedness and response programs. The above guidelines provide an overview of possible preparations measurements. However, preparing for a nuclear strike is complex and must be done under the guidance of security and defense experts. It's a good idea to consult with your country's security authorities and experts to develop a customized nuclear strike preparedness strategy. Also, information and educating the public is vital to increase the awareness and ability to react in the event of a crisis. Note that preparing for a nuclear strike is an unpleasant and emotionally charged process. The best approach is to focus on crisis preparedness in general, which will help you deal with various emergency situations. In the conclusion, surviving after a nuclear war is an extremely difficult challenge, but certain practices can increase the chances of survival. Finding a safe shelter, protecting yourself from radiation, maintaining adequate supplies, and informing the authorities are vital. Also, psychological resilience and the support of others can contribute to survival and coping with difficulties. Please note this is offering general advice, not a substitute for specific guidance from nuclear safety authorities and experts. In the event of a true emergency, you contact the authorities and follow local guidelines and safety protocols provided to you. And this is from Crime Study. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.